Alright, let's go ahead and get started on my second round in the Skyline6 summer vacation. I'm going to be building a zoo today, and we're going to be trying something a little different with this video. Part 1 of my build is the entrance to the zoo. I decided that from the area with the nature reserve all the way to the edge of this tile, I want a highly decorated roundabout. So we're going to use some trees, we're going to use Find It, we're going to use Move It, and we're going to get this roundabout started. Flow of traffic was really important on this roundabout. I didn't want any harsh edges coming off the roundabout. I wanted traffic to be able to flow smoothly, like a river or water. And I really wanted to build these nice swooping curves into the roundabout. So on every single entrance and exit, a car can just smoothly enter and exit into this roundabout, which honestly, I think made a pretty cool shape. So when building the roundabout, I couldn't really find anything I liked to put in the center, but I really like the shape of the city arch. So using one of our few mods, Find It, as well as turning on the sub-building feature, I was able to take the pieces from the city arch and use Move It to place them into this really cool looking structure in the middle. And what is any of my builds without a little bit of crazy detailing? So let's finish detailing out this roundabout.
Hands in the sky, I can feel the winds of change. You live and you learn, and I hope I've seen enough to make something right. Make up for what I've lost. I was down, but things are looking up. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know it should. Things turned around, didn't ever think they could.
I really wish that in City Skylines we had more colorful flowers, but these beautiful colored trees will do, and I think it made a really cool pattern. I'm also going to detail each of these little segments between the entrance and exits, and I think I'm going to add a protected bike lane for bikers who are coming from other parts of the city around the roundabout, because I have no bike lanes, and into the zoo so we maintain our bikeability throughout the city.
But things are looking up. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by you. Want you to make my heart feel as much as I know.
So in order to protect the bike lane, I'm using Find It once again to find the bollards. I couldn't think of what the construction cones were called, so I decided to go with bollards because I think that they really act as the types of protective mechanisms I have seen for bikers, because I don't want any cars zooming around the roundabout taking them out. The next thing I did in the city was build this interchange. We have a highway on one side of our city, and then we have my connection from the nature reserve to the zoo. But it is a cul-de-sac, right? I can only go one way in. And unfortunately, the area that I needed this is out of the tile. So I ran a highway all the way to where I wanted the interchange. I built the interchange within my open tile, used Move It, as well as one of the new interesting Move It tools, which connects the nodes automatically to old nodes when cloning the tool. And so I built the roundabout, oh my goodness. I built the interchange, I have roundabout on my brain, and then I cloned it and put it onto the highway. Again, I wanted almost every single movement on this interchange to be sweeping, so you'll see as I'm building this, my curves, I at least try for them to be quite long, and I try for everything to be with momentum and ease, so here we go.
Wasting my time, building up courage, just to throw away it all in the end.
Now on to probably the most time-consuming part of my project. This is zoo entrance. This thing probably took me 6 of the 14 hours of footage, which for one tiny portion of the zoo was insane. But I figured a lot of things in the parks DLC we've seen before. You know, we've seen all these assets, and so how can I use these assets and how can I use Find It in order to create something that hasn't been seen before? So I wanted to make sure I had interesting shaped walls and concert venue and lots of seating and tile work and tree work and details out the wazoo. So I hope you enjoy watching me detail. I'll probably pipe in a little bit on this entrance, but everything in my opinion is pretty self-explanatory except for those really cool auditorium seats. I'll get to those in a minute. So because of our mod list, I don't have the ability to just add nodes to make crosswalks. So I changed the section of road to a different type, which is the bike lane. And then what I did is I took roads and I made a joining of two roads to put a node there. When you connect that back into the larger road structure like I did, you end up with a node, and so on each side of that different road, you get a crosswalk. And so I used Move It along with this trick to get the crosswalks to line up with the pathways.
With you, everything's moving slower. I don't know what it is you do. I've been looking at you all night, trying to figure you out. I just wanna make you smile. Hold your hand in my hand, looking at the sunset. Man, you're looking good tonight. I wanna kiss you before the sun goes down. It's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my calling. There's no one else here that I see but you. It's what you're doing that's making me feel like I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling in love.
So the tile work was really intensive, but I think it made it really nice. I wish there was like a paintbrush tool for it. But I ended up having to use bushes to cover the very edges of the tile on the outside of that fence, but that's okay. So now for the fun part is I'm creating an auditorium, and I was on call with Shukaboa, and he saw what I had, and he told me to use these pillars, and I believe they're the bridge, like railroad bridge pillars. And he said he learned it from Teddy Radko. And so what you do is you line these up, and then you make a row, and you copy it, and you make a row behind it, and you copy it, and you vary the heights, and then it looks like seating. And I thought that was brilliant, so I had to do it. So thank you, Teddy. Thank you, Shuka. Thank you, anyone else who was involved in that process, because I am now mind blown. So now onto the first biome of the zoo. So I broke this zoo into biomes, or different types of themes of animals and the land that they would live in. So this first area is more of a grassland and a lagoon, like high grassland. So I'm gonna have horses, I have all of the monkeys, I have the birdhouses, I have the flamingos, and then on the edge we'll work into savanna grasslands.
It's what you're doing that's making me feel like I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling.
So I based all of my trees and my decorating choices to the ability of my, within the game limits, to try and fit this theme. I also added a children's petting zoo, as well as many different parks and ponds to really bring it to life. And now you may be asking yourself, wait a minute, those parks require roads. Well, we have two mods in here that can fix that. One, the good old Move It. I make a tiny road, I move it under there, road problem solved. Now you may be asking yourself, but don't they need trash? Well, yes, but we have game anarchy, and so I don't actually know what setting it is in game anarchy. I could probably look it up, but whatever initial settings we had in there, I was able to have them not need trash and access to all of those different requirements. More says Azumi's. All of those different requirements. So I've just been using that little trick for this, and I think that's pretty fun.
remember I was laughing in all the photos that you took, but now it looks like acting, like we were fiction in a book. Guess it's the way it goes, and I will never know why you let me go. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain strong.
Once again, I'm using the sub-building tool in Find It, and I found the really cool barns that come with the Industries DLC, and I used them and named them to be a chicken coop, a goat milking parlor, or a goat petting parlor, and a cow milking parlor. There we go, much better. And I set up a nice little kids petting zoo area with the dirt paths as a dirt layer on the bottom of this because I was not gonna do tile work again. I am scarred for life from doing tile work.
I look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me, nothing can stop me in the night. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff. Go, go, running to better times. Go, 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 throw my emotions out. Go, 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 running to better times, to better times, to better times.
Now without a forest brush, I like to take a couple of the trees and bushes that I want, and I will make a small cluster, copy, and use Move It to put them around.
You give me this energy. It is like you set me free. Chasing highs to stay alive. But if I'm with you, I'll survive. So hold me close into the night, 'cause I need you to stay.
The next part of my build is the science and the education and conservation portion of the zoo. The center part of the zoo has the science center, the botanical gardens, and the ziggurat garden. I think that this is a neat center point to the zoo. And again, I used my little road tool trick underneath to make them not ask for roads. And I also think that there are so many cool ways that these buildings could be used, and I really just wanted them in my zoo. So I placed them in the zoo, and I built small areas nearby to combine the lagoon and high grasslands to the science center, and then use the science center to connect the high grassland to the savannah.
Follow me into the night, without you I'm falling deeper. Stay a bit longer, yeah, I just need you to, I just need you to. Stay a bit longer, I just need you to. Can I be around you? Motivation, just a little.
One thing that I really think brings this zoo to life more so than some of my other zoos, we're expanding the exhibits, adding keeper entrances and exits, and adding additional storage space off the back of exhibits for animals to go into or for tools and, well, junk to sit.
Just for motivation. My motivation. My motivation. Na 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 na. Can I be around you? Motivation, just a little while. A simple question, can I get closer?
Also, I wanted to build a small birthday party area, so I built a section where each individual piece of land could be rented out for a party, and so I stuck balloons. There are, shaded areas, and I think a really fun place for a party or even a meeting, but these ones are parties because I went balloon wild. now we're into the savannah. The fun part about the savannah is the entrance, which you have to go underground through rocks in order to enter, at least from the main entrance. There is a side one around the back if you don't want to walk through rocks. In the savannah, we have elephants, giraffes, rhinos, and lions. Big drawers at the zoo, so they have the largest area, and they also have the most outdoor nature sitting areas. Oh, and I love log rides. Had to use it here. And I know in the tunnel, if you were to actually zoom in and go underneath, you would hit the grass and debris from these rocks, but we're going to use our imagination here and pretend like I would have been able to have removed the built-in grass on the rocks for the zoo, but I think the entrance wasn't that bad.
Just had no clue until I first laid my eyes on you, and now I never had to freeze under rainy clouds. No need to pour no gasoline into the fire now, for our love to burn, 'cause the flames already high and all over the world.
And thus begins the animal migration, where the elephants and the giraffes have made their way to their new homes. You go, giraffes. You go.
The flames already high and all over the world. The world love to burn, 'cause the flames already high all over the world. We don't need no fuel.
The cool part about the savannah area is I actually got to use a lot of the Africa in miniature props and even some of the buildings, and I just love the way that the DLC looks. It was so well done, and I want more things like this to show different specialized areas and buildings around the world. So Colossal Order, give me more. I love it. Excuse me, ma'am? Ma'am, can I help you? Hello? Oh, sir, I'm sorry.
I'm hanging around this city. I'm really getting to know this town. There's nothing quite like it here. Leaves are turning yellow and brown.
Also, I wanted to create a lookout structure for the elephant enclosure, and so I used the viewing deck as well as some of the stairs, hint hint, nudge nudge. They're actually pillars to create a cool entrance into the viewing platform and maybe even a feeding platform for the elephants.
I hurry along, like it's so important, like I'm the only one. Walk on by me. Walk on by me.
on to the final segment of our zoo, which is the actual grassland. Not so much the lagoon like the first one, but actual grassland and plains. Here we are going to have the bison, we're going to have the antelope, and we're going to have moose and reindeer, which is technically taiga tundra, but I threw them in here for some good measure.
The truth is, this is your life too, and everything that you feel inside of you is but a memory you keep alive. This is the storybook you get to write.
Beneath the shadows of this quiet town, I see you there, your feathers on the ground. Your eyes are heavy with the weight of the world, what's in a life you never could offer. Even if you never flown before, you can take.
I also use a lot of the large rocks in city skylines to create a natural barrier around the zoo in place of just a fence. I think it adds a really immersive feel, and I think it's a lot more natural and something you would actually see in a conservation style area. Alright, so now time to tie the highly decorated roundabout with the micro-detailed zoo using some of Shukaboa's Move It Export hedges. I just went with a very simple rectangular hedge, which I copied through Move It and cloned into parallel lines. I then copied the parallel lines into more parallel lines, and I filled the parallel lines with different colors of trees. I thought this created visual interest, a movement from the roundabout to the zoo, but was not too overly distracting, and it's kind of pretty. I don't know, maybe I'm biased.
If you never flown before, you can take a chance and try once more.
And now to the final, walking tours. I love walking tours in my zoo. I think they're a lot of fun. I like the little signs they stick around. Highly recommend.
You can still take flight, although you're earthbound.
I hope you enjoyed my build, and I hope the detailing wasn't too much for you. I want you to know that in just a few minutes, over on CityZilla's channel, it'll be his turn for the second of the Skyline6 premieres for the day, as our final guest builder takes his turn in the city. Thank you all. I appreciate each and every one of you. S'mores and I are gonna go take a nap after CityZilla's premiere. Go there, go check it out. I'll see you in a little bit.
Don't let your worries weigh you down, down. You can still take flight.